have no idea what was going on anymore.
We got
You guys,
breakfast.
that's right. You guys woke up. That's right. That's right. I got to be careful with what I talk about because just mentioning breakfast like derailed everything.
So, we get back in the car after breakfast and we trot off back down to Wybrook.
What? We get back in the car?
So you hop back in your carriage, not a cart, and yeah, you head off down the road. There's a bit more traffic, I guess, in this sort of region. Like, you'll see more travelers coming and going in different directions. So farmers with, like, vegetables and stuff. People going back and forth. Other carts, you know, a few people ride by on just single riders on horseback, go flying past in either direction. And I guess it's probably getting, unless something, let me roll, see if something crazy happens.
Come on, something crazy.
Yep, so there's a dragon. No, nothing.
Damn it! Not again. It didn't sit on us this time, did it?
Nothing much really happens until you get to the town. Upon arriving, I mean, the carriage driver says that you're approaching, and so you pull up and you hear him have some words with the guards at the front, explaining he's got a carriage of passengers, and so the door opens and you see an elven woman who's dressed in like leather armor with a halberd and a red tabard that's got like some like white sort of multi-pointed star on the front, just sort of
Question.
Yeah?
Isn't that the same one that Akra's got on her shield?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so she looks over you for a sec and just sort of like seems just unsatisfied and closes the carriage door without a word and says, "Yeah, you can go through."
Is
yeah, I
this
guess
the
so.
main city?
Yeah, so this is a larger city, and as you look out the windows, you see as you're going down like one of the main streets that there's a lot of the stuff in here is made of like really old worked stone. So it looks to be quite like the city's pretty old. So there's sorts of various sorts of styles though. Like while the base stonework is quite old, it's been like carved into various motifs and things as you go around. There's a lot of it's kind of eclectic, all the different styles and that. I was saying, seeing as Akra, you're like from sort of near-ish. Would you have been through here before? You can decide. You would have at least heard of the place.
If this is where the Baron is, I've probably been here before. He
doesn't like rule over your lands or anything. Like
there was probably some sort of diplomatic thing where we just like visit each other and talk and crap. So
and I mean, you would at least know that this city, I mean, is a really big religious hub for the region as well. Whether or not you've been here, you would at least just know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go through some more sort of streets. So along the main street, there's a lot of like vendors and stuff selling various things, and you eventually come around and pull up to some gates around sort of with large stone walls with what you can see sort of through the window around the corner through the gates is there's like some sort of what's the word, like not a palace, like a mansion with some nice gardens kept around it, sort of near the heart of the city.
Manor house.
Yeah, manor house. Thank you. So yeah, the carriage driver says, "Well, this is the Baron's residence. There's some guards at the gate, and they asked to see some sort of proof of entry or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of them takes the letter, disappears inside the gates, comes out like a minute later, and hands it back to you and says, "Yeah, you guys can go in." So the carriage driver, he asks if you guys want him to go in and just pull up out the front and wait for you guys, or if you guys are done with him.
We'll probably be in the town for a few days. If you think you have other employment, you can feel free to go.
Well, very well then. Thank you, madam. And he rides you up to the manor house. So it's got a one of those roads that curves right in front of it. It's got some nice, well-kept gardens with hedges and various rose bushes and stuff through it. So yeah, you guys pull up at the front of this place. He lets you out and departs. And you already paid him, didn't you?
Yeah, we paid him at the start.
Excellent. So he gives you a nod and rides away. And so at the door, you're greeted by a servant. Says, what business?
What race is he?
He's a halfling.
Okay.
So he's actually, he's like half as tall as you are.
He might not even be half as tall.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I have not rolled the halfling servant's height ahead of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, anyway, I'm just like, Have I been to the specific residence before?
Probably not. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. You can decide. Like, I don't think you would have had like personal dealings with the Baron before, the head
Yeah.
of like another sort of region. But like maybe
My
you
father
visited
might have, but
Yeah, you might have
at
visited
best
as
it would
part
have
of a
been.
delegation. Like he'd be
Yeah.
like, "Here is my blah blah blah" or whatever, and you say,
Yeah. I was some kid which they just sent be out of the way,
Yeah.
probably.
"That's fair enough."
So yeah, I wouldn't address him in any special way.
No.
He asked like what our business was?
Yeah.
The Baron invited us for a dinner. We are the group from whatever the town we previously were at was called.
Thornfield.
From Dawnfield that slew the ogre and hobgoblins.
Says and nods and says, "Very well," and
I'm
sort of
not bad.
gestures you into a sitting room that's just inside the door, and says, "I will be back in a moment after I."
What
inform
time
the
of
Baron
day is
you're-
it?
It's probably. I guess it's evening again, so it's getting towards dinner time. The last bit of sunlight sort of just like bleeding out over the horizon.
Okay. I look at the sorcerer and I'm like, it's probably best if you make us as clean as possible in case we're invited to dinner immediately. We don't really have time to take care of this ourselves.
Do I look like? Just kind of roll my eyes.
Yeah,
Bye.
I mean,
Tarron.
he didn't specifically invite you to dinner. Like he just invited for like an audience or something. Like,
Oh, I thought he specifically said a dinner.
I don't,
Do you remember, Amy?
I don't believe
You
I
had the letter?
specifically
No.
Okay, if it was just an audience, then I probably wouldn't have said dinner.
Oh,
Yeah,
but you
that-
still want to be cleaned, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, either way, we should be in our best appearance when meeting with royalty of the region.
Mending.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's clothes amended and cleaned. You know what?
Yeah,
Okay, guys,
that's
ditch the dentist idea. Start like a laundromat.
Exclusively in
How else can I use Mage Hand in this instance?
Sort of-
Pilfer
Anyway,
candlesticks.
Alright,
Yep,
carry on.
there are solid gold candlesticks just sitting around for the taking.
A phantom hand kind of just floats around.
Oh, gold is
Just
a
diamonds flying around.
bad metal to use.
I'm sure I could like grab one of my tail and just pull it up under my coat.
Do you have a prehensile tail?
Yeah,
I do now.
yeah. No, Wynne actually has a tail that you can do stuff with.
Oh, it's prehensile. Alright.
I mean, I don't think it's like I don't think it's quite as good as like a monkey's or whatever, but you
I
can
don't
probably
know.
grab stuff.
I feel like devil tails are probably that useful.
Yeah, I think so.
You can probably do things.
Actually,
with
yeah,
a
you've
devil
got
tail.
a good point. It probably is. You know why? Yeah, why not? It's literally like as flexible as a monkey's tail.
It's got like a
Wanna
grippy
win it
bit on
there.
it as well.
Does it have the little like triangle pointy thing at the end of it?
No, it's just sort of a basic tail shape.
All right, that's fair.
So do you
Okay.
actually grab
Sperry's looking
things
at
with it?
tails.
Yeah. I mean, you're alone in a room. I mean, there are not literally solid gold candlesticks, but there are some pretty nice candlesticks around.
My tail just puts the candlestick back on. Oh,
No, it's not worth it. Not
had to
worth
look
it.
at it. It's not actually.
I mean, it could be gold plated with silver.
I know where you can sell one of those.
I reckon I could tell if it's copper or not. Doesn't smell right.
Like putting it in your teeth, going, is that gold?
No, it's just
I do like that. I do
give it
like
a
that
bite, see if it
nobody
is.
mentioned the
crunch.
ridiculousness of plating gold with silver, but we'll
I smiled
let that
about
slide.
No, I thought you plated silver with gold, but we won't go into that.
I don't know. I just thought it was something a mad rich person might do.
Yeah, that's true.
Electrum candlesticks.
Before you have a chance to steal anything else, I guess if you put the candlestick down or not, the halfling servant returns and says, yes, he will see you now. And says, please follow me.
Follow him off.
Okay. Yeah, he leads you through to a dining room where, there's two men sitting at a table, human men, like mid-50s, and One of them's at the head and one of them's at the side. It's one of those like long tables that could be laid out for like, a bunch of guests and stuff.
Yeah, so it's
And
not like a proper audience chamber.
No, it looks like he's just in the middle of his dinner, like talking to someone.
okay.
He just waves this. He's like, oh, he sees you coming and holds up a hand like, sup, almost. And just
Okay.
sort of makes a gesture, and then the guy he's
Just a
talking
polite
to
wave.
gets up and leaves. Yeah. He says, and so you walk a bit closer, yeah. So he's a human, 50s, got sort of a grey goatee beard thing. He says, and claps his hands. So you're the wonderful adventurers that saved my town.
We did have some
Yes,
help
that's
from
us.
the guards. Thankfully, no
Wonderful.
one was lost.
So I heard. And he's still, like, eating his dinner. He's got some, lovely, like, chicken, just a whole chicken on the plate in front of him that he's totally not going to eat all of, but that's what he's got, with various vegetables and all sorts of other stuff around. He says, so Rada said that, yeah, you were a pretty competent lot, and him and I go way back, and I trust his judgment on things, and which is fortunate, because I have an issue I would like a third party to investigate for me.
Would he
In the middle of that, I just
recognize
sort of go,
my family
Um,
crest?
sorry.
Actually, that's a good point. I totally meant to roll that. That was one of the things that I meant to remember.
Yeah, because I have my family crest on a big tabard.
Yeah, that's true. He sort of stops and says, he sort of looks confused for a moment and says, "Are you of the House of Kimbatuul?"
Yes, I am one of his daughters. I was
Oh.
the adopted Red.
Oh,
I think I was here as a small child, but it was a long time ago.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's right. That took me a moment to realize. I was expecting the gold dragon, but that may very well then. He says, he starts making it's just some small talk about your family. Just asks how
Yeah.
your other is. Has a bit of a chat about that stuff.
Normal, polite conversation.
That
Okay.
I am eavesdropping upon. Because
Yeah,
I'm
it's
standing
just
right next.
it's just talk about like noble politics and stuff that's just nobody really cares about, but you just talk about it because that's what those sorts of people talk about.
And there's nothing about.
And a lot
that
of it
he's
is
a red
mostly
dragon.
just gossip anyway.
Yeah, you guys are all like, oh my god. Anyway, so he gets back around to the point and says, so I have a kind of a conundrum. He says, like, sort of looking towards Akra, as I'm sure you know, this city is rather ancient and well known for its deep-rooted religions throughout the city. We host to all the major and minor religions through here, and they exist in a sort of harmony that I somehow managed to hold together and oversee. But there has been a slight hitch. One of the priests from the Church of Debilis, who Eryn and Akra, you know that's the god of knowledge and wisdom and stuff. You got if the other two you want to roll a religion check, you can. Says he's gone missing, but the problem is that he was seen with the company of some priests of Paraxius, who is the
Whoa.
god of.
Can everyone just take a look at my 2 rolls, please?
Oh,
'Cause it'll never happen again.
Your rolls actually they're not coming up for me. You have to tell me what
Stop
it was.
making us look at
Both
your
perfect
rolls.
20s.
I
was
rolled
it?
natural 20 on both.
Really?
221s.
Wow. Okay, so you know that as well then.
I know the shit out of the
Well, to be fair, last week a guy with advantage rolled a natural 1, so like on both die. So that was pretty. So that's like the opposite end of it. And I like that you saved the roll for like a religion check about like some conversation. Like that's when you're gonna roll the 2
Nothing.
20s. It's when we get to the fight. It's like, okay, Spiry, you've got to like stab the dragon in the face, or the whole world gets destroyed. It's like you roll a 3 and a 7. Yeah. So he says that he was apparently seen in the company of some priests of Paraxius, which is quite unusual. And all of you guys can. Well, Paraxius is the god of battle and war and violence. So while this is kind of an unusual arrangement, it wasn't really concerning except for the fact that this priest hasn't been seen for many days. He said he was told, this is just secondhand, but he was told that he told the members of his church that he was leaving for a few days to investigate something, and hasn't been seen since. It's been over a week, and they tell me that their magics inform them that he is still alive, so he hasn't fallen to some unfortunate event on whatever business he was attending to.
But he may have fallen to a different religion.
So
Well, it's possible.
was he leaving the city? Or...
Yes, he's left the city. apparently, and their attempts to locate him within the city have failed, so he must be outside it. He was CS, so he's seen in the company of some priests of Praxis some days before he left. So I need you to look into this, because if I have my guard poking around, throwing accusations and things like that, could raise some tensions between the various religions in the city, and, well, things get tense enough as is, and I don't need to throw more fuel on the fire. I would suggest you begin your inquiries with the temples of the respective religions, and he sort of gives like a look to Akra and says, Eryn, do you have any visible like holy symbols?
Yeah, I would have more white on if we're traveling normally, and moonstone and stuff on my hand.
Oh, that's right. So he says, perhaps you two will have some interesting times dealing with these priests, with sort of like a sly smile, and says, but you could also go see your own clergy throughout the city if you like.
I'm sure that ours will be willing to repair this situation for you.
Of course. So he thinks and says, oh, of course. And he shouts out some orders to a servant. He says, this is my token of thanks for the work that you did in Dawnfield. And there's a small bag that a servant comes out and presents to you.
I'll scoop it
Take
up.
it. Ah.
I was there first, yes.
Who's the person next to the guy that presents
Sorry?
it? Who's the person next to the guy that presents it?
But wait, the person next to the guy that presents it?
Yeah.
Who's
Like, who's he walk up to?
Who's nearest to the bag?
That's a good point. Okay, roll. You two, seeing as you're the most interested, roll a d20. Whoever gets
Damn
higher
it.
is closer.
Alright, where are we? Oh, jeez.
No, it is
You know
not.
what? I'm gonna roll as well, because naturally I would...
Oh god.
Yeah, anyone who wants to make a contest for the treasure can roll.
Oh, I got beaten by a midget.
Yeah, the numbers aren't coming up for me, so tell me who gets the highest number.
For fuck's sake, what's happened to you?
Just plain
Stop.
D20.
There we go.
Ah!
Wynne gets it. Wynne wins.
How obvious are they in their
I'm not
struggles
obvious.
to get the money?
I show interest.
If you don't want to be obvious, you'll have to make a deception check, I guess.
No,
Damn it.
as I roll so poorly, I go towards the, and I get cut off, and it's just like, there we go.
Okay. I just like face palm at this display.
Of just these ignoble people, savages.
Does a 12... Well, is it a bag that would look like gems? I would only be interested if it looked like gems.
It could be gems, it could be coins. Does whoever grabs it just like open it up straight away?
No, I'm like, it just goes straight into my coat like it wasn't ever there.
Okay.
She's smart like that.
So the bag disappears. Says, and so he Baron sort of smiles at us and says, so do you have any further questions?
Can I just ask you first, how big is the city? Like, how long would it take us to travel between various temples?
He says the districts for the temples are sort of, there's not a temple district, it's sort of spread out a little bit, but they tend to sort of reside near the center more, so if you wanted to go visit every temple, it'd probably take you a few hours of walking around, but
okay.
going from one to the other would take tens of minutes, maybe.
Well, we should probably not continue to come back here to report. Is there anyone we should contact outside so as to distance ourselves from you?
If you just tell my men at the gates, they'll report to their officer who just sits out there. They can take care of that.
Would it not look suspicious us constantly returning to your gates?
Well, you're on business for me, so... I mean, as
You're
long
trying
as
to
you don't
distance
go
yourself from-
announcing wide out to the public what you're doing, it should be fine. Just asking your questions at the temples, talking to my guards.
Okay.
It's just if I have my guards aggravating various temples, he just shakes his head. It can be difficult.
Understand.
Because, as I said, almost all religions are tolerated in here, so there can be quite a bit of tension between some of them. That's how we keep the peace in the city. So I'm trying to please everybody.
If he seems finished, then I
mean, yeah, he's finished telling you stuff. Unless you have anything else you want to ask.
Is he still like sitting eating, or did he? Like,
Yeah,
get up?
he's been like picking through, like eating this
Yeah.
whole time.
Then I just do, like, the polite nod / thanks, whatever the heck Dragonborn actually do. I don't know if would we bow? We'd probably all bow.
Well, it would be whatever
Handstand?
your thing is. Mine would be different culture.
Yeah.
I guess there's some gesture in either Gnomish or from my religion that I would do.
I'm like, yeah. So I do the bow, and I'm just like, we will return to your guards as soon as we have any concrete information.
I appreciate that. And you depart.
Slap him on the back and go, right, you're on, mate.
Do you? I mean,
See
you
what
can
I
if you
do.
want.
Is she allowed to get that close?
Yeah, I mean, nobody stabs you.
I mean, you'd have to, like, walk all the way around the table.
I mean, well, I imagined it sort of like you were sort of on, like, sort of the corner of it. Like, he's at the head of the table. You sort
Yeah,
of walked up,
that's
so you
what I
were,
thought.
like, conversation distance away. So yeah, you
Okay.
can go
Right there.
slap. You slap him on the back, and he just laughs and says, I admire your spirit. Yeah, and then he, like, whispers, like, kill her. One of his nearby guards. No. Shenanigans were had, but nobody gets murdered.
Okay. So yeah, we head out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that maybe we should find somewhere to set up base, a tavern or something. I would like to check in
Yeah.
with my temple, but perhaps not weighed down.
Perhaps. We'll find one of the nicer taverns in the city to stay at.
As soon as he says that, I sort of turn away from the way I was going. Oh, nice taverns. Okay.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, it's to stay with them. I mean, or you can go have fun at a different place.
Solo adventures.
Do they have rooms that would have like 4 beds, like 2 bunk beds or something?
Yeah, I guess you could find a room like that.
What's the
I
tavern
mean, it would
name?
probably be Comfortable Serpent. I picked the best
We just
random
call it the Comfy
generator name.
Serpent. That sounds better than Comfortable Serpent.
No, it was specifically the Comfortable Serpent.
If it's like, yeah, I guess we just I'll get a room, get a meal.
Yeah, so these ones, like, the rooms they have are for, like, 8 people. Like, if you want one of those rooms that have bunk beds. So you'll have to, if you want it exclusively for you guys, you'll have to pay for, like, twice as many rooms.
I lean down to Eryn and go, do we really want to share with the Dragonborn? I mean, the smell alone.
I heard that.
They are a little meaty.
Roll to hear it. Roll to hear it.
Yeah, make a perception check.
I heard that.
So whoever's staying in the big room, decide how you want to split up 10 silver.
So I'm sharing with the devil.
You're sharing with everyone. It's not
Oh.
the devil, it's a half devil. It's not quite as bad.
Once all of us are in the room, I turn to the tiefling and I'm like, so are you going to distribute the earnings from that trip?
I go, sorry? Yeah, of course.
Just disappointedly shake my head.
I don't think she cares, honestly.
And I just
No,
stare
no,
until
not
she
really.
pulls out the coin purse.
I don't know. At this stage, my character might just stare back for a while, just for an uncomfortably long period of time.
Willpower check. See who breaks.
Don't forget, she can go into your mind and start talking at you.
Oh, my willpower is not that great.
Yeah, no, you have low wisdom, remember?
Oh yeah, I
3.
totally just get like frustrated and annoyed unless she like completely fails.
I'm staring at her at the same time while pulling the bag out, just maintaining eye contact the whole time.
I'm just like maintaining eye contact as I slowly draw my sword.
Okay, if
Anyway.
I look in this bag, what do I see?
You see a bunch of platinum coins.
Ooh, fancy.
Okay, I
I
go,
mean,
here's one
it's
for
like,
you,
you know,
and one
maybe
for
like
you,
a,
and
maybe
one
like
for
a,
you.
a small
And I put the bag away.
How many? Did you give? 1 each.
one each
Yeah.
is what she gave you.
And
I mean, if you're
meanwhile,
only
she's
have-
holding a pile in her hand still.
Well, it's like, yeah, there's like, you could hold it in one hand. So.
As she like goes to
Uh-huh.
put it away, my sword just kind of like moves into the way between the where muted himself.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
please, let's not fight. Winnie, come. We
The
all
sword
need
just
our
like
heart.
goes in the way. So like she tries to put the coin purse away, but there's just a sword there, cutting into the bag.
I think it's not so much the sword, but when Eryn starts going, I start twitching a bit and go, alright. There's something about the little gnome is just messing with my tieflingness.
I love how the gnome just pulls you back into reality.
I mean, it's not reality; it's morality.
Yeah, morality.
No. When it comes to Wynne, it's reality.
You're thinking of my previous character.
Oh, so they
No
get to
longer a
stay.
captain.
What's the actual distribution then?
Oh. Well, there are in total 12 coins.
Nice and
Three each.
easy.
Okay, here's another one for you. No, okay. Okay, I'll distribute them
So
fairly.
each got 3 plat.
Yep.
You with
He
your,
could have
your
given you a crate full of
morals and
copper,
your
but I guess he
ethics
just likes you.
and your fairness.
To kind of disrupt the awkwardness, I'm going to be like, come here, Winnie, I need a bit of advice. Could you help me?
I just starts twitching again. Goes, yes. I get this expression on my face like, why am I doing this?
So I'm going to unpack my backpack and lay everything out on my bed. I'm a little over encumbered, and I think I can get rid of some of this. So would anyone like some rope? Or
Didn't someone
and then
have their rope
I'm like-
picked up?
yeah.
Yeah,
Akra.
I'm just like, well, I do need a replacement.
Okay, I'll pass that to you, and then I'll start to organize the rest out. Wynne, do you think I need a mace? I'm not very good with it. I was kind of just carrying it because it's what clerics do.
Best excuse. It's just what's done.
It's just the stereotype. Like, I've got to run with it.
There are many merchants in the town. You could always just sell these things.
I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
can take
donate
that off
them.
your hands for you. I can get rid of it.
I was going to donate them to my order. I'll keep my cross, but I don't think I need my water skin or my rations or a mess kit. I don't think I even need this bedroll. I might just trade that in for something I could sling up from a tree.
No,
I
you don't
believe
want
you
to
should
get-
probably keep those 3.
What, a
items.
bedroll?
Mm-hmm.
The bedroll and the water skin and the rations are probably good to
They're
keep.
Yeah.
so heavy, Akra. I know
You
it
can
doesn't
leave the-
look it, but I'm actually quite sore from carrying this around.
I immediately start
Leave
picking
them
stuff
here.
up and handing it over to Akra. Go,
When
carry
we
these,
leave-
carry these, please. You don't know what this is doing to me.
When we leave, you're gonna want them.
Well, okay, you've got my rope. That's fantastic, and I think I'll donate my mace to my order. Thank you all for helping me sort this out.
Perhaps you should spend your earnings on buying a pack mule. Or perhaps a pony.
We've seen so much danger. I don't feel right taking a pack mule into what we've been getting into.
Buttercup survived, didn't she?
The animal will probably be okay.
She survived a bear, and I'm assuming she
She
just ran
survived
away
a
from
bear.
it. I don't want to lose my stuff while it's on a donkey, and the donkey's just like, fuck this, dragon. Blah, 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 blah. Gone forever.
Only half dragon.
Not you. I was talking about all the dragons we've encountered.
Yeah,
There's
they
been a
just keep
lot.
swooping down from the sky.
Yeah.
And landing, sitting on you. Yeah, I remember that. I remember now. Yeah, from Skype. Yes, that's when that happened.
It's like in Skyrim when you're just walking along and suddenly like 2 dragons are on
Yeah.
top of you.
Like, oh, here we go again.
I just want to
And
sell some
sucks is
stuff to
you-
this merchant.
Now the merchant just gets blasted into flame and runs along trying to punch the dragon.
Yeah.
I'll have to incorporate more of that into our game. I'm
When
gonna add
the
that to the
vampire attacks.
random encounter table. Ancient red dragon and a merchant who's fist fighting it.
Somehow the dragon keeps rolling 1s and the merchant keeps rolling 20s.
Somehow.
Bloody hell! Down goes the dragon.
Yeah. So what do you do with your supplies then? Do you give some to Akra?
If anyone offers to carry them, I'll give them those, but I'll just hand over my rope.
Carry
I
the
won't expect
rope.
that back.
I'll take the rope, but
No one wants to eat the rations that I have.
I just tell you to keep the rations
Keep
and the
the
water skin.
What else have you got that is so heavy that you can't, that you want to get rid of your food?
Well, my backpack's heavy, but I need it to carry my other stuff. My
Yeah, but
bedroll's
what-
heavy, but I need that to sleep, apparently. I don't think I do. My mace
What
is
else?
heavy, and I'm terrible at using it.
I'll take that off you.
It's a gnome-sized mace.
So I kind of like hold it in my hand. It kind of looks like a pestle.
Probably.
All I need now is a stone bowl. I can grind some herbs.
That would be a helmet for a gnome.
Yeah.
Yeah, mortar and pestles are just gnomish helmets.
That's
Maybe
how
not
they were
the
invented, do you know? A gnome had taken off their armor and left it on a bench. And then someone came along with a bunch of herbs and decided to...
Grind them up.
Or a gnome got decapitated by a monster and it started bashing its head in with its own weapon.
Oh,
And someone saw it and was like, oh, that actually looks like it works pretty well.
how come that's not how the story goes at all?
Are any of the temples have like night services or are open primarily during the night or late evening?
It'd depend on the religion, I guess.
Any of the
Some-
major temples in like a normal city?
What ones do I have? Some of them might. Some of the major ones.
The temple
Most of
of
the
Nocturnal.
the ones that have night services would probably not be made up of the major ones. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you want to feel like contradicting me, I don't think our West service would be like
No.
Nights. service.
We're daytime
Yeah.
people.
Like the only ones I'd really expect are maybe more of the evil-ish aligned,
Kind of.
Temples.
Yeah.
but even then, probably not. So but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, there's the temple of like love and happiness that does the midnight sacrifice of a baby, but every day. But other than that,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
seriously.
mean, they're probably not involved unless something
Okay.
comes up. I just waste time.
okay. So does everyone go to bed then?
Yeah, I don't do
Okay.
anything.
Normal
Special.
nighttime stuff. Hang out down the bottom for a while and go to bed.
I like the
have
sounding
to-
of going to bed.
My character goes and tries to swindle some people because
Okay, sure. So is this when everyone else is asleep? You go to the
yeah, because after that incident with the gnome thing happening, oh, I feel so dirty, all this morality. Ugh. Ugh.
Okay. Do you just go downstairs in the tavern and talk to people here, or do you go find like a seedier bar somewhere, or what do you want to
I'll
do?
probably. Are we gonna be staying here for a few nights? Because if it's just the one night, I can probably just do it here.
Maybe. I mean, maybe
What?
more than one night, maybe not. Who knows?
I'll go
we-
to somewhere else. You
Yeah,
don't
remember
shit
we
where
were
you
looking
eat.
for a base.
Exactly what I was going to say. Okay, so you find, a suitably seedy bar, or, one that's a bit rougher or got all sorts of people, or if you want to go for the high class one, like whatever you want. There's any sort of tavern in this town that you want.
Does her patron end up appearing?
Oh, that's right, 'cause it's a bar.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
yeah.
that.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's whatever you decide.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's up to you.
because they
It's
manifest.
literally
yeah,
up to you.
That's right.
So it can move, right? Like,
I
What?
think it
decides
can.
what it wants to
Normally,
do.
patrons are entities, but her just takes like
Well, hers is
She
an
said it was-
entity
yeah.
that it exists it exists outside the multiverse. It's not even on another plane. It's just on a completely different level of existence, and so its energies sort of seep into this universe, and that's what the warlock is harvesting for their powers. Yeah, and Wynne's one has a particular affinity for manifesting in bars.
As bars.
Oh, that's right, as bars. Okay, so you find a bar that's like it's actually pretty like middle class looking, but you can see this like sort of weird sort of almost like an aura that's not really there that nobody but you could see, and it tells you that something's going on with this bar that's to do with your patrons like aura manifesting or something. There's some energies floating in the air around there, for sure.
Oh. I go to the bar.
Okay. It looks like a totally normal later evening, low-key thing going on with just sort of some simple merchants and stuff like that, having some drinks late, but you're seeing it through this sort of weird filter that gives you like this different perspective. So it's this really weird looking thing where everything's totally normal in one plane, but then you sort of like almost rotate your perspective and you see this bizarre eldritch energies pulsating through the air.
It's like at
Ready
the edge
for-
of my vision kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're the only one that can see this, but it's definitely there and can be interacted with in some way.
I go up to the bar and just go, oh.
A drink appears in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, so the bartender's it's a bit lower, there's a dwarven guy behind it, and he's like,
Bark.
"So what can I get you, miss?"
I sort of absent-mindedly go, when Vacal, what would you recommend?
Oh, whatever you like. We got a good selection of wines, whiskeys, some ales and beers and that. What are you feeling tonight? I can make specific recommendations. Or...
Just an ale, please.
Okay.
So, how long has this bar been here?
Just insert any like code words or things, Fluff.
Code words?
I mean, if you have some special thing with your patron,
Yeah.
in your background, just like throw it out.
Yeah, I mean, you... Because it doesn't say specifically what to do. Like, this is your... You can just alter things however you want. So he's like, oh, it was my father built this place and blah, blah, blah. And as he's, like, filling it up with, like, ale or whatever, it's like, you see the pouring out, it's not ale, it's some black liquid that's filling up the tankard, but he seems just totally oblivious to this or whatever as he untaps it and he slides it over and just says, "Oh, it's 5 copper. It's a blah 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 ale."
I sort of
Not knowing enough
look at
about
it a bit
ales.
funny, but I hand over the 5 copper.
Okay.
Sort of sniff the drink.
It smells like ale with something else. Like you sniff, but it's not like your smell that registers the sense. Something weird in the back of your mind, like some sixth sense sort of part, a literal sense, picking up this extra stimulus. It's really weird.
I'm gonna try a sip of it. I'm gonna try some.
Okay. Do a Constitution saving throw, or no, a Charisma saving throw actually.
Okay.
It tastes like despair.
Maybe. Ooh, that one rolled an 8.
He's looking up the effects because you failed.
Yeah, I'm looking up the the chart for eldritch alcohol failure results.
Mixed potion.
Yeah, the mixed potion table would be pretty good. Actually, I'll find that later. Okay, so you take a sip of this, and suddenly, like, everything, your vision starts to get really, like, blurry instantly, as if you've just had some ridiculously strong drink, and everything starts getting dark and weird, but you still feel as though you're, like, perceptive enough. You don't feel, like, drunk out of it, but your senses are sort of doing that while your mind's staying clear enough. And
You're
you
not
sort
drunk, you're just tripping.
yeah, basically. That's a good way. That was just a really good way to summarize it without the flowery text. You just start, like, tripping. But everything's dark, and so you start to feel this connection growing between you as you realize you've sort of opened up a sort of way for the energies of your patron to flood into this world from whatever strange, bizarre world it exists in elsewhere.
Wynne increases 3 levels.
Maybe. So you feel that you have some sort of chance to... I mean, you can sort of communicate or direct this energy or do something, so you can, like, either push information out into the void that you want, or you can let information pour through into this world from the void.
Can I communicate with it, or
Yeah.
is it just a one-way thing?
I mean, it's sort of like 2 one-way things. It's a bit weird because this being isn't a being. It's this utterly alien thing that's sort of incomprehensible to mortal minds. So communicating with it is a bit weird.
Description is a bit weird.
Yeah, just a bit weird. This thing that's utterly incomprehensible to a mortal mind is just a bit weird. So I mean, you
It's
can
like
talk.
Imagine speaking to a trip of the sun that keeps morphing between the sun and a squid, and it talks to you in smells.
That's one interpretation. There are many, and all of them are correct.
All of them
It's
are
like
none
that,
of them.
but weirder.
Yeah. So you can try and communicate in whatever way you fancy. At the moment, like, your senses are not like sight and sound and stuff. It's like some weird just brain connection sort of thing.
So I like recognize this thing as my patron, do I?
Yeah.
Right. But I'm gonna try and like convey that to it, that I'm like who I am and who they are to me, kind of thing.
Okay, so you sort of just feed this information out into whatever void it's in, and after a moment, you start to feel like some sort of energy's coming back out, sort of acknowledgement, thinking, just sort of. It almost feels like your mind is sort of has like fingers over it being touched, like feeling your brain, just like exploring it, seeing what it is curiously. It seems to have it seems almost like familiar though, like there's a level of familiarity going on.
Okay, take another drink.
Okay, so you take another drink and then the vision of what's in the normal world seems to like fade out way more, and the connection seems to grow stronger, and you feel like you can communicate a bit more normally, like you've gone deeper into this sort of trance or whatever.
I don't even know what to do now.
We're
You're
on a mission,
communicating with
remember?
an utterly alien being from outside the realms of perception, so isn't it obvious what you should do?
I'm gonna ask like what it wants and what it can do for me in return, if I can help.
Okay.
If there's any wants that I can actually understand.
Yeah, when you say wants, you sort of like desires, you sort of feel like sort of the energy levels intensify and perk up. And what it's looking for is it's searching your brain and going through all the stuff that you know, looking at different things. And what it seems to want is like knowledge. It's when you talk about desires and what it wants, and while it's looking through your brain, you feel it going through more, just looking for just information, knowledge, understanding. It's doing what you're trying to do, where you're trying to like perceive it and understand it and its world. It's like doing the same thing to you. So it's saying that it wants. Without speaking, it's saying that it wants more knowledge, understanding. It's curious to try and understand this world because it's difficult for it to obviously get through the barriers between where it's from and this world. And it's curious to know more. And it doesn't just mean like, it means that in like a larger existential sense, not just give me random factoids about your universe. Like, it wants sort of like encyclopedic knowledge, just whatever.
But not encyclopedias.
Well,
I can sell at some of those.
Yeah.
For a price.
Encyclopedias would not be a bad thing, I guess. Would you like to bargain with this ancient like being of the unknown realms for the prices of encyclopedias?
I could bring it mines. It would like mines. I can bring you mines.
It sort of perks up with this, and you seem to get a sort of affirmative or desire for more signals back.
Okay, I sort of try and
It's like minds, thralls, knowledge, understanding is like just the like concepts tumbling out of it into your mind.
Is there more it can do for me in return?
Well, you feel that when you start saying these things, the energy between you increases, and so you get the understanding that the more you're able to give it, the better its links to this world will grow, and it can feed you with more energies for whatever you desire.
Okay, then I sort of indicate that a bargain has been struck.
It sort of acknowledges this curious arrangement. You feel it's sort of starting to sort of pull back as the hole, the metaphorical hole between this world and that one, so it starts to sort of close through. Unless there's anything else you wanted to communicate before it finishes.
I can't think of anything just now.
Okay. So you all of a sudden just like snap back into reality. You feel totally fine, like physically. You don't feel drunk or whatever. You just feel normal, maybe a bit weirded out because of what happened. But you look around and everyone in the bar is just like slumped over, and all the candles that are burning like darkness instead of light. Like they make everything's sort of lit with this diffuse glow, and then where candles are, everything's like darker.
Oh, cool. How's the barman?
He's breathing, but he's like slumped out over on the bar.
Okay, I go over to one of the sleeping patrons and have a rifle through their pockets.
Okay.
I knew
You
it was
notice
coming.
that all their drinks also have been like turned to this same black liquid as well. You find 9 silver pieces in this guy's pockets.
Okay, I take them and leave.
Okay.
Only one. You only pick at one. Pick.
Yeah, well, you
Pick it.
know, I'm gonna be back.
Okay, yeah, no one showed any signs of stirring or whatever. So, I mean, everyone seemed to be breathing, but it's just really weird. Okay, so
I'm gonna head back to the place.
just go to bed like nothing weird happened at all.
Well, I might be sort of looking at my arms a bit, going, "Oh, humanoid, remember? Okay."
Yeah, you do not have any tentacle-like appendages other than your tail, I guess. There are no tentacles on your body that were not there before.
My tail's very happy.
Yet.
My tail's like all curled up and lovely and.
Okay, so yeah,
Does your
you go.
tail wag like a dog when you're happy?
Don't get Fluff's a cat person, so cats wag their tails. It's bad.
Don't they flick it when they're like about to pounce on things and they're excited?
Yeah, sometimes they go whoosh 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 when they're playing.
So everyone goes to sleep then and wakes up in the morning.
No,
Yep.
we go to sleep and we wake up next week.
Spiry's about to fall asleep.
Everyone except Spiry has so much fun and has an adventure. In the morning, you hear you hear something about some weird story about like a bar where everyone got drunk and passed out, and it was full of like darkness or something. I don't know. You just hear the start of it, but we'll deal with that next time.